Rusame reader, Crow Song! And today I will be reading to you from Black Coffee by MysterySaviour. Now, on to Act 2, Chapter 27. America! America! Yelling won't make him wake up. Is he breathing? I can't tell if he's breathing. Where's the best place to find a pulse? Russia! Greenland shouted impatiently, drawing Russia from his freakout. Worrying is not going to help him. He'll be fine if we're just around to support him. Don't overwhelm him with your fucking panic attacks. Antarctica frowned and rubbed circles into Greenland's back, noticing how worked up he was getting. Greenland smiled appreciatively and leaned into his touch, hooking an arm around his partner's waist and cuddling into him from the side to calm himself down. Well, if we don't panic, what do? We wait, Mexico replied sullenly, fiddling with his fingers as he stared at America's expressionless face. All we ever do is wait for him to be okay again. Russia grimaced, taking his ushanka and running a hand through his hair. He was sitting cross-legged by America's head, Mexico by America's waist. Greenland and Antarctica were snuggling on their bed, talking silently to each other with sign language. Russia sighed, pulling his ushanka back in place and scooting closer to America. He gently lifted the striped country's head, supporting his neck with his second hand, and placed it in his lap as a sort of cushion for America. He combed his fingers through the shorter country's soft and fluffy hair, and smiled slightly when he recalled the country doing the same for him so long ago, before immediately frowning once more. What the hell happened? One moment, America was the happy, bubbly, chatty country he always was, and the next he was spouting nonsense in foreign languages and leaking black fluid. Wait a second. Spouting nonsense. You'll need this if you want to understand him. Russia's eyes widened, and his hand dove into his jacket pocket, causing Mexico to look up in surprise at his sudden outburst. The Slavic country fished a small black book out of his pocket, opening it triumphantly. He hadn't taken it out of his pocket since the day Australia had given it to him, and for once his laziness actually seemed to pay off. Was this what she meant by understanding him? Was it the other languages? The pages of the small journal were aged and worn, even yellowed, and the writing looked almost juvenile. As though the pages progressed, the handwriting became more refined, as though the author were growing up and improving. He began reading the first page. Hi. Even if you're just me and you're rereading this, congratulations! I trust you to look after my idiot of a big brother. And by look after, I don't mean cook for him or help him study or whatever. I mean take care of him. Look, when May and I were kids, we were both a little strange. It's one of the reasons we get along so well. We were the only ones we could relate to. Probably won't tell you what this is, 'cause I'm mysterious like that. But let's just say it could be life-threatening if left unattended. He needs support. If it's happening right now, you'll know what it is if you've seen it. Then please, God, follow my instructions in this book. I've spent decades making notes on him and myself, back when I had the same problem. And hopefully, that will help. My brother needs saving. please do everything you can to make sure he survives this. Australia. Russia's eyebrows raised as he read, his frown deepening. Australia sounded serious, and the way she wrote these notes was as if she expected him to read it. Well, not Russia exactly, but someone who cared a lot about America, like Russia. Russia turned the page and continued reading, chuckling at some of the small doodles that were on the pages between the paragraphs, or just off to the side. They may have been depicting worrying and horrible things that had just happened to America, but in the innocent child way. Russia had also noticed from the second page onward there was also a cleaner, nicer-looking handwriting written in blue pen that added extra edits or extra information, clearly from later on in Australia's life. Stage 1. This is the most painful stage, man. Like, bonkers painful. Oh my god, I can't believe I used to say bonkers. It's hard to describe the feeling. It's kinda like really stingy. Like, imagine being stung like by a gazillion bees. It's like 1 out of 10. Like on the oh no scale. Gazillion isn't a word. Wait, is it a word? Oh shit, I just looked it up. It's not an actual number or anything. It just means a large indeterminable number. But it is a word. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. It just sucks. And I wanted to complain, you know? This is about stage 1. Or at least that's what Soda and I call it. We don't actually know if there are other stages, but we have hope. There are, and they're not much better, to be honest. There are a few things that happen in stage 1. It's called Cultura, actually. Spilling black stuff from your mouth and eyes, and it tastes really gross. Think of the grossest thing you've ever had and times it by 1,000,000. And 2. 1,000,002. Speaking different languages. The ones that belong to either the countries that colonized you or discovered you, or that you are connected to in some way. Coughing, 'cause the black stuff. It's called Cultura. Come on, man. It's not that hard. Your eyeballs are all black and can see stuff better in the dark rather than in the light. We're not sure why. Hold on. Let me ask Abby and Tori real quick. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. They said your eyes go black because you lose sight of the light, aka you can no longer remember who you were before you were colonized, or refuse to remember a time when you were weak out of fear. The great eyesight in the dark and weakness to light is a whole nother light thing. Since you're refusing your past and others are trying to destroy it, causes you to get, I guess, turn to the metaphorical dark side and have difficulty accepting the light. Who knew Guardians needed to make everything so literal? I don't get episodes as bad as America because, you know, he had the Spanish Inquisition and Dad. I just had Dad, and technically Mom. But we don't talk about that. Also, I figured out why Maple and Kiwi don't get these. Okay, so Kiwi is actually a badass and was like, no, and didn't let Dad be mean. So he was like, okie dokie, and left her alone. And everyone thinks I'm the cool twin. No, they don't. No one thinks that. And Maple was just super chill with Dad and didn't put up a fight at all. so they were cool with each other. But Soda and I both had fights, and we both enslaved our people. Well, the others did. We really didn't do that. But we were kids, so we couldn't really say anything against it. Also, Dad said something about whitewashing. Yeah, genocide. Both Soda and I had one, as well as segregation. Also, no one talks about this, but Dad made my people hate the Aboriginals and used selective breeding to get rid of them. Selective breeding. Like fucking dogs. Sorry, this stuff really gets me mad. So many people suffered because of the stupid ideals of foreigners. Anyway, see ya. I have to go to dinner now. Boy, don't draw emojis. Who does that? Well, me, apparently. Russia? Mexico? America called out croakily, causing Russia immediately to stop reading and look at him worriedly. The striped country had a red and white hand over his eyes with a grimace, and Russia looked up at the bright ceiling lights. Could someone please turn off the light? Mexico raised an eyebrow with a frown, but nodded, quickly getting up from his place on the floor and flicking off the light switch. Russia bent down closer to America, taking one of his hands in his own. It's darker now. You can take away your hand. America smiled gratefully and pulled his hand away from his eyes, blinking in the low light. Black. His eyes were completely black. Completely and utterly void of color. Russia had read about it in the journal, and yet it was still jarring. America's black eyes widened when he realized why Russia looked so surprised, and jumped up from his lap, running out of the room and slamming the bathroom door, leaving the four friends to sit in silence. Russia, Greenland piped up, making Russia turn to him and his boyfriend. We need to talk. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time, and I will see you tomorrow.